everyone! Today I'm going to show you step by step how to repair and reupholster an old office chair. As you can see, the chair's faux leather is falling apart and the upholstery is worn out, so it's time for a complete restoration. First, I start by removing the chair's base. Now, I need to figure out the best way to remove the fabric and upholstery. The first thing I need to remove is this plastic piping, the decorative trim around the edges of the chair. Carefully lift the staples using a screwdriver and remove them with pliers. Here I'm removing the chair's armrest to completely take off all the faux fabric and upholstery. As you can see, the base of the chair is plywood. There is some upholstery left that needs to be removed. I removed the wrist rest fixings to make it easier to clean the chair's base and removed all the upholstery and glue residue using sandpaper. Here, I'm cleaning the metal fixings of rust using sandpaper. I need to reinstall all the wrist fixings before covering the chair with upholstery. By placing the chair on the upholstery, I mark lines to show where to cut. I'm cutting holes here so the screws can be put back later. Trimming the excess fabric along the guides. Here I use white glue, suitable for both wood and fabric, to attach the upholstery fabric to the chair's base. Next, staple down the edges of the glued upholstery fabric to the chair. Take measurements to cut the seat padding. To get thicker padding, I'm using upholstery foam in 2 layers, gluing them together. I mark the excess foam that needs to be cut from the chair's corners. Then I glue it to the chair's base. Then I will cut the last piece of the upholstery layer. And staple it down to the chair. Here you can see that I've already trimmed the excess fabric edges. And again, in this layer of upholstery, I also need to cut holes for the screws. I'll be using this amazing fabric with embroidered leaves in golden and silver tones. I'm positioning the fabric so that the leaf pattern faces upward on the front side of the chair. It is important to iron the fabric before sewing. Here I'm cutting slits into the sides where the fabric must be folded. Next, sew along the fold line. After checking how it looks, I turn the fabric to the wrong side to pin it in place. I begin pinning from the top downwards. Take the pinned fabric down and sew it together where it is pinned. All sewn down, and it's ready to put back on the chair. The next step is to staple the fabric to the chair. And to finish the underside of the chair, I staple down the fabric that hides it. And on the final sides, I sew them down for a cleaner look. And here's the final look, with no visible staples. Here I'm punching holes in the fabric where the screws will go to reattach the chair's base. I add a little bit of white glue to the holes to make sure the seams don't fray. The same here. Using polishing paste, I polish the chair's metal base and wrist rest. Now it's time for the final step, attaching the metal parts to the chair. And voila, the chair is ready for a new life. Would you use it?